5 cities and 5 different stories in the real estate market in the Magic Valley. Let's jump into it. Welcome to the Velocity Housing Report, where I break down a 7-day snapshot of the Twin Falls housing market and surrounding towns. Now, I know I don't look like the part of a realtor in this video at the moment, but I guarantee you I am a licensed real estate agent and I am active in the Twin Falls market with Fathom Realty. My job here in these reports is to get the information to you what the data says. And the data tells us that we have 5 different stories in 5 different cities. So let's jump into that information so you understand what's going on so you can make a better decision for yourself as a first-time home buyer or a property owner looking to downsize or even upsize. Let's jump in. Rather than just listen to me and watch me talk, I'm actually going to pop up a couple graphs here as we go so that way you get an idea exactly number-wise what you're looking at. So let's look at this first one, which is what I call market leverage. If you look at the breakdown on the market leverage chart, Twin Falls has a solid mix for seller advantage and balanced deals. What this means is that there's not a lot of negotiations going on as far as bringing the price down. So the sellers are getting what they're asking for versus what the buyer may be asking for. But there's still a good mix where you're seeing some of the deals come through right here in Twin Falls. Now, if you go to Jerome, Kimberly, and Buhl, those are leaning for much more balanced with some buyer advantage showing up. And when I say that, there are some price negotiations going on in Jerome to bring the price down. But on the flip side, if you look at Kimberly, we've had a recent one where there was a $14,000+ over asking price contract go through and the pendings. So there is some buyer advantage, there is some seller advantage, and it's just leaning towards a balanced review. If you look at Filer, it's balanced straight across. There's not tons of activity going on there. So what the data is telling me, and what you should possibly be reading into this, is that Twin Falls has the strongest combination of demand and movement in the area versus the towns outside of Twin Falls, where you're getting a lot more time to look and possibly make a deal. So the options are more open on the outside than they are on the inside in certain price ranges. Keep that in mind. So on this next chart that I'm going to pull up, it's average days on the market. Now, there's a little bit of interesting information here, and you might look a little confused when I actually talk about this. So just keep on track with me as you look at this chart. Here's the average days on market for the last 7 days. Twin Falls is averaging 57 days on market. Kimberly is averaging 66 days on market. Jerome, 66 days. Buhl, 72. And Filer, 54. Now, at first glance, Filer looks faster than Twin Falls, but here's why that number isn't the full story. This is only a 7-day snapshot. Filer has much lower volume, so 1 or 2 quick sales can make the average look better than what it really is. Twin Falls has way more activity, so the 57-day average is based on much larger number of homes and gives more reliable picture of a real market speed in the hub. So in the sense of looking at Twin Falls as a whole, Twin Falls is generally moving faster than all the surrounding towns. And mainly that's because of the quantity of homes on the market. So again, if you start selling onesies and twosies in homes, the market changes the overall average, but it doesn't reflect the actual truth. So the next chart that I want you to look at is the pricing pressure, and this deals more on the pending side of it than it does anything else. So let's just jump in that so you can take a look at it. Look at the pending activity for the last 7 days. Twin Falls has 24 pendings, Buhl has 6, Jerome has 5, Kimberly has 4, and Filer has 2. Twin Falls has a significant more homes going under contract right now. This shows a stronger buyer interest concentrated in the city core. Now, remember, when I'm pulling these numbers, these are just for the city, not as a county whole. Same thing with Jerome. We're just trying to get an idea of what city core and town cores look like versus the overall broad picture of the numbers. while the data is telling us exactly what's happening in pendings, it's also telling us what's happening in the market as far as whether or not we're getting heavy buyer advantage or heavy seller advantage. Again, we kind of had that conversation about a balanced deal. What that means is, and referring back to that, what that means is that we're seeing sellers have an advantage, not necessarily saying that we have a whole bunch of houses that are going over asking, but exactly what they're asking. And we're seeing a small margin of buyers getting the advantage where they're negotiating and they're getting the deal. And a lot of those have been on homes that have been on the market for a very long time. If we just look at this as a whole, basically what's happening is we have a balanced market right now. It's still swinging toward the seller. That's just what it is because there's still so much more demand. There's just not enough inventory to supply that demand. So you're always going to get a higher price for a house. But there are deals to be found, not just in Twin Falls, but in the surrounding towns. Twin Falls right now, if the house is well priced in a lower to mid range price, they're moving off the market quickly. Last week I was looking at it, and there were some that were on the market for 0 days, and there were some that were gone in 8 days. So there's deals and opportunities to be had. Where the price starts pinching and we see more time on the market is between 450,000 to 700,000. Those are staying on the market for a very long time, and even when they are staying on the market for a while, that's where we're seeing a lot more negotiation being happen and concessions. What those concessions are without looking at each one, I can't tell you, but I imagine they're going towards the buyer advantage on those typically. So I think in retrospect, and I got my paperwork here because I don't have a teleprompter. Twin Falls is active and it's moving. The other towns aren't moving as fast. There's a little bit more velocity here in Twin. There's deals to be had. If I'm a first-time home buyer, and this is not advice, this is just me looking at things and speaking out loud here. If I'm a first-time home buyer or I'm a homeowner that's looking at maybe I'm not, there aren't any opportunities out there for me. There are a lot of opportunities. The question is where do you go for those opportunities? Well, that's what this market report's all about. It's to tell you that there are opportunities out there. Now, whether you want to live in Twin Falls, or if you're willing to look in Filer or Buhl or Kimberly in Jerome, I know Jerome's a tough one because the traffic in the morning is killer, especially if you work over here. Is just it's murder. Not to use that word, and I shouldn't use that word because YouTube will click me. And getting home, I understand. So maybe Jerome's out for you. I mean that's just it's a possibility. But I think if you're looking for something, if you're looking for a home and you're not finding what you want in Twin Falls, looking outside of Twin Falls isn't the worst option. You just have to decide whether or not that's what you want. So look, if you want more information, if you're looking at a specific neighborhood or you want a certain area, just comment down below if that's what you want. Or I left my contact information, mainly my email and my website, so you can go to that. I will leave a link to the market data report that I have on my website. That way you can go look at that. It's free. It's a quick sign up, nothing crazy. And that will give you fresh data all the time for neighborhoods and the market if you want to go do that versus talking to me. I'm fine with that too. If this has helped out at all, if it's helped make the market clearer for you, or if you have questions you'd like me to clarify on another show, just leave a comment down at the bottom there for me. And don't forget to subscribe and like the channel because I'm going to be doing these every single week. to keep you informed so you can make the best decision possible. So until next Monday, have a good week.